Hi guys, DriverLadyPro here. If you have never been to my channel before and you are a delivery driver or a rideshare driver, you're in the right place. So tonight, what we are talking about is a driver. This is the second time this has happened. A driver was decapitated, second time, exact same way, while they were in autopilot. Um, while the autopilot was active, and the problem is the driver, like, they fell asleep while they were just going along, and the semi truck, it was a 4-lane highway, um, but it was divided, and the semi truck went across his lane highway to go to the other side and go take a left. And because the self-driving technology, as I've been reading from the article, the self-driving technology can't quite see objects that are moving slow or they can't see slow moving objects or stationary objects, so they did not see the semi truck. And of course, this guy had like a convertible or something. I put the picture on the thumbnail. It looked like it was a convertible, but you can see the damage is just like, and it took off the back end of the car too. He drove right under the semi, and of course it took his head off, and which is sad. It's very sad, but this is what my predictions are, and I don't know what you guys think. This is one of my predictions of what is going to end up happening with these self-driving cars. Now, they're so focused on getting so many certain amount of miles. With these self-driving cars, we need 100,000 miles, and that's what the Elon Musk said. We've been driving these self-driving cars, but it's going to end up causing fatalities, and people are going to be less likely to get into a self-driving car than when there's all these fatalities. I heart Cryptoverse in the house. This is a live stream video, guys. I'm trying to fit as much as I can in the beginning of the video. And konnichiwa, Dark Road Run in the house. So I have not even opened up the article yet. I was reading it over for like a third time, and what happened is this happened like in March, but they just now determined, they just now did all their investigations and figured out what was going on. Now, if you are a CDL driver, you guys may know, I've been trained as a CDL. I have my learner's permit. Wendy Cooper in the house, Rick Reviews in the house. So I have a CDL learner's permit, and this definitely was the CDL driver's fault, because they cannot cross the street without making sure everything is all clear. For some reason, he crossed the street and did not look to see, because it's both people's part. The guy that's in self-driving mode needs to be, watching. And Elon Musk came out and said, yes, self-driving mode is wonderful. And they still claim, even though they found out they were lying, they're still claiming it's the safest way to go. Because I did an article a while back that they were finding out that, they were saying, Tesla was saying, oh, it's so safe to be driving a Tesla in self-driving mode. And then they're finding that that's not necessarily true. And so what do you guys think? Do you think that, would you, if you, all right, we all know that Lyft, self-driving cars, is in Nevada, they are in Las Vegas, and but they make you sign a waiver. Would you sign a waiver and get into a Lyft self-driving car? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Let me know. Would you ride in a self-driving car? I feel like these self-driving cars are just like proving themselves not to be safe. So let me go on with the article. So, this was Model 3, and apparently this had happened a couple years before. Oh, Roy Watkins in the house. Hey, buddy. Woo, woo. Thank you for the good wishes. Greetings from Las Vegas. Would you take a self-driving Lyft? Roy Watkins, would you sign the little papers that they make you sign? Like, what if you get in an accident? Then your family's not going to get anything from Lyft if you sign those papers. Would you do that? So, this happened in Palm Beach County, Florida. This happened before, like 2 years prior to this. They had they had like some kind of knowledge and were able to like fix their next car to do stuff, and they haven't done it. So that was one thing that was pointed out. Definitely, I wouldn't even attempt to even support the self-driving cars. Kevin Cook. Hi, Mandy. Chicago in the building. Chicago's in the building. Woo, woo. So, one of the things that Tesla has been found out is they're coming out saying these self-driving cars are so safe, but they've been kind of covering it up and kind of talking out the side of their mouth. And finally they proved, it took them years for people to actually stand up and say, what you're telling people self-driving cars are so safe, but you've had more accidents with self-driving cars than with you're claiming this, but they're not safe by any means. So what do you guys think? Kevin, Wendy, I Heart Cryptoverse, would you take no self-driving cars and wouldn't sign Jack at all? Me neither. I don't care. I don't know. And Kevin, you drive Chicago, right? Somebody was saying, oh, hi, Alex Miranda in the house. And I mean, what are your thoughts about how a self-driving car would do downtown Chicago? Because I've heard people say, the self-driving cars will be all right in like maybe downtown Chicago or downtown New York or LA. What would you say to that? Because I've already responded, but let me go back here. So the driver engaged the autopilot about 10 seconds before the collision, from less than 8 seconds before the crash to the time of the impact. The vehicle did not detect the driver's hands on the steering wheel. The preliminary data was talking about of the self-driving car. Let's see. That car on Lower Wacker. Exactly. And, my daughter came here to help me out when I was really, really sick. And she went downtown Chicago, and the Google Maps was flipping around. I'm like, honey, I know how to do this. Just give me the phone. I know how to do that. Let me drive. No, you're sick. I'm like, no, listen, you got to be a pro at this. You got to know how to do this. Yeah, and a self-driving car, I mean, those tall buildings, I just, they don't have enough. So the spokesperson, of course, says we are deeply saddened by the accident, and our thoughts are with everyone affected by the tragedy. Tesla drivers have logged over 1 billion miles with autopilot engaged. And our data shows that when used properly by an attentive driver who is prepared to take control at all times, drivers supported by Autopilot are safer than those operating without assistance. What do you guys think about that statement? It is not safe for downtown because people run around the streets, especially when running late for work or lunch break. Exactly. My daughter was cut off a whole bunch of times, and I'm like, honey, that is normal. That is, and she's like, I don't care. This is terrible. I'm like, yeah, well, you get used to it because, you get cut off and you go, well, how many times have I cut somebody else off? And people cut you off. And a self-driving car might like slam on the brakes if somebody cut you off. If the driver needs to stay attentive, then why bother to have the autopilot? Bingo! Why does the driver need to stay attentive? If this is supposed to be such secure and wonderful technology. So what it was, Ave Cam, I've seen driving for over 20 plus years in Los Angeles. I've been driving for over 20 plus years in Los Angeles, and I yet to decapitate someone. Exactly. It does. I have seen where Autopilot was engaged, but the driver was alert, and all of a sudden the Autopilot, boom, 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 did something really quick to maneuver the person out of the way. I have seen that happen. But that doesn't mean it's always going to happen. Their system is not 100, not 100%, at least not while driving. Yeah. So it was talking in here, and I want to get to this part. It was talking in here about the other companies. Okay, most other companies working on fully self-driving technology use LiDAR sensors to supplement cameras and radar. LiDAR sends out laser beams and measures how long it takes for them to bounce back. Then it builds a 3-dimensional point cloud of the vehicle surrounding. That would have made it easy to detect a large object like a truck. Unfortunately, LiDAR with sufficient range and reliability for self-driving applications will cost tens of thousands of dollars, making it impractical for mainstreaming use in customer-owned cars. Bingo. It's going to be too expensive for people to just buy a car with LiDAR. You know what I mean? So Autopilot is useful for parking. Yeah. I like my car has a little bit of it doesn't have the the self-parking thing, but it has where it slows down if there's a car in front of it, and I really like that. It keeps you at a safe distance from the car in front, but then the problem is in Chicago it'll slow down and it gives you plenty of space between you and the guy in front, which is important. But the thing is people will jump in there into that because they teach you in driver training for CDL that you need some space between you and the driver in front, because what if somebody slams on the brake or somebody gets in front of you all of a sudden? And a lot of people will just jump, 5-6 cars right in front, and they'll be like butt to butt. They had self-driving bus downtown Las Vegas, and there was an accident with a bicycler. That program was canceled immediately. Yeah. But the problem is they have not figured out that there's going to be a lot of fatalities from just even the self-driving cars. Now, the reason why it's working out in Las Vegas, guys, is because there's no inclement weather. But as you know, here in Chicago, and maybe in where I come from in Michigan, Wisconsin, all these upper states, they're not going to be able to use self-driving cars for a long time. Just not too long ago, I don't know if you guys know this, it would drive down the road and it would see a bush next to you and it would stop. It would just see a bush, and they were doing their demonstration like, oh, yay, high no limitation ride share. What's up? So he says, what's up, foos? So we're talking about self-driving cars. We are talking about, if you're just coming into the room, guys, this guy had his car in self-driving mode, and I don't know if he fell asleep or what, but he put it in self-driving mode, and a semi-truck went across the 4-lane highway. They were going to the other side to turn left. Okay, this one was going that way, and then the other 2 lanes over there going the other way. And because it's a slow-moving vehicle, the radar didn't, the radar and all the bells and whistles didn't detect the moving object because it was running slow, So, and then I'm talking about like some of the flaws that have been seen in self-driving cars. And then I'm asking, Nolan, Bam Bam, what do you think? Would you take a self-driving car? Have you seen a self-driving car in your area? What do you got? Welcome, Deanna from Chicago in the house. My Chicago people, I'm not getting paid for this. He says, F no. I'm not getting paid for this. Listen, guys, I do get my car fixed at this place, and I'll put it in the description below. It's called Collision World. If you are from Chicago, and they will give you, if you go and get your car fixed there, they will give you a rideshare rental. If you have full coverage on your vehicle, they will give you a rental that you can use rideshare, and you don't have to come up with the $300 deposit. So it's called Collision World. I put it down in the description below. The reason why, they're not paying me, but they have done me really good in the past. So bicycle riders act like they dare you to run them over them. She's been driving a while. Autopilot accepted the challenge. Hi, Mandy. Can you imagine autonomous vehicles driving over potholes in Chicago? Yeah. They'll probably stop. Yeah. Semis are high, so that doesn't help. And then Kevin says, Deanna from Chicago. Kev is from Chicago also. Bam Bam is back in Chicago. All right, buddy. So just in case anything happens to your car, I do go to this guy it's on Knox Avenue in Chicago, and he takes good care of me. He's got really good service. He my car was broke down. It was like at my house. He towed it, fixed it, got me up and rolling. I had my own rideshare rental. This was back in November when I was driving. I was like, oh, what do I do? Yeah, and I had full coverage, but they're like, yes, you can go down to one of those. You can go down to the car rental place. And then I'm like, yeah, Collision World. Yeah, and the guy, and tell him I sent you. The guy, he owns taxis and Uber cars. So he'll hook you up he will hook you up. How do I get the rental and register with Uber? I need your name on the insurance. Okay, they put the insurance on it. And they send you a thing in the mail, but you will walk out of there with your insurance. They hook you up. You walk in, they put you on, they put you on their insurance, and then, you walk out of there with a vehicle, with your inspection, everything already. All these cars have already been used as inspection. All I had to do is I drove out. and there I drove out and I said, oh shoot, I gotta register this on my Uber app. I just took the pictures, took the pictures of the inspections and the new car, and by the time I got home I was registered to drive for Uber and Lyft. So yeah, they, Uber, I'm not going to say your full name. Hi girl, how you feeling? I am feeling about the same. I am feeling better than I did before. That's for sure. But the past, few weeks, I've been feeling pretty much the same every day. So, yeah, I try not to swear on this channel because it will, it will drive people away. Some people don't like nasty language. And I do remember going to somebody's channel and they were drunk when they decided to do a live stream, and they were swearing and they were cursing like bad, like potty mouth, really bad. And I was like, and I put them like, no, I don't like that. I told them that. And I understand. So I try to keep it clean. Every so often something flies out my mouth though, because, we're not all perfect. But anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. Now, I don't understand why they would, I guess why they wouldn't, hey, RC driver in the house. So I'm guessing that these self-driving cars of Tesla are just using the regular radar and cameras to see. He says I have a potty mouth. That's okay. I know how to hide your naughty comments. So does a fat man, and a lot of his comments get hid automatically because I have a yeah. So what I'm understanding is the LiDAR is really expensive. So people are all these self-driving cars for Tesla. You're getting Tesla self-driving cars. Hola, Christine. ¿Cómo estado? So they're asking, they're not putting all these really expensive things on top. So this is another thing. If they would have had LiDAR on the top of the self-driving car, that may have been more likely to see a semi-truck pulling out in front. So if you're just joining the room, what happened to this fella, I'll let you know what's going on. This guy was in self-driving mode, and he was driving down the highway. He put his car in self-driving mode, and a CDL, a semi-truck, pulled out and crossed the lane and went to turn, and he got decapitated. This is the second time this has happened. And the last time, same thing. He was driving down the road, and he got hang in there. How are you doing? I hope awesome. I'm doing okay. When did this happen? This happened in March, but they just now came out with the report like yesterday about this. And the thing is it's important for us to talk about it, I feel, because people need to know that these vehicles are not ready. They're not safe. And I think it's going to take a long time, 20 years for people to completely go, oh, okay, maybe I'll get a new self-driving car. I'm about to pick up my last passenger, then go to the gym. I'm glad you're doing well. It's great to hear from you. Thank you, Bam Bam. Nice seeing you too. Have fun at the gym. What a horrible accident. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, we are all praying for you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just hanging in there. I took my, last treatment, or, I got my treatment. What is it? Today's Saturday. I got my treatment. Was it Thursday? I got my treatment Thursday, my second treatment. And I felt kind of crappy afterwards. Last time I felt kind of good afterwards. So we'll see. I go talk to the doc next time I come in, which is in 2 weeks. And then maybe he'll do testing and see how well it's going. So, but yeah. So let me ask you all again, for those people that weren't in the room at the time, would you, if you were in Vegas, because they're testing these vehicles in Vegas, would you take a self-driving car, self-driving Lyft, even if they said it was free? This is Dewey from South Florida. Dewey? Dean from Chicago says, Deanna from Chicago says, Uber shouldn't be thinking of autonomous vehicles yet, especially that there are so many gasoline vehicles. And Christine says, hell no. Okay, I said that quietly. I'm trying not to swear. South Florida, I have family in Naples. Oops, Doogie. Okay, Doogie or Dougie? It's Doogie, isn't it? All right, woo. Anyway, Doogie, I'm going to be coming down. I hopefully in January, when it's really bitter cold here, I'm coming down to Florida and getting a tan. And staying at my relative's house, going to the beach, hanging out for days. Yeah. I don't want to stay around here. Especially when all vehicles are electrical, then they should think about promoting autonomous vehicles. Well, they're trying to, all right, they've been working on autonomous vehicles since the 1940s. And each time they're coming out, the autonomous vehicles are coming any minute now. You should see them by 2019. Well, of course, they are testing them. Call me Doogie Fresh. All right. They've been talking about autonomous vehicles for a very long time, but that doesn't mean that they have actually shown things that are safe. And I think that's what the American public, they don't care if they've had 1 billion miles logged. What they want to see is 1 billion miles logged with no fatalities. I mean, if you get fatalities, then how is it that much better than, maybe if a deer gets hit, that's one thing, but get decapitated drivers, that's gonna screw things up, So Deanna from Chicago says, are spacecrafts considered autonomous? Yeah, I think they are. In fact, I think spacecrafts are like are more, well, I don't know, like spacecrafts here in the United States, I don't think they're autonomous. They have to have a crew running them. I was thinking like extraterrestrial spacecrafts. There I go off in Neverland. So, how long have you guys been driving? Do you drive for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, Deliv? I just got approved for Deliv and Postmates, and then I got disabled, and I just got the letter in the mail. They're saying you're approved, they said, and but you have to wait 6 weeks or 6 months before you can get you have to be disabled for 6 months before you can get anything. So I'm like, I'm gonna go without income for 6 months. Yeah, that is the reason why I haven't been like, oh yeah. Some people are like, oh, I'm gonna go get on disability. I'm like, yeah, and you'll have to be disabled for a long time, with no income. You have to have somebody that really loves you. So do you guys, please let me know in the comments below, do you guys drive full-time or part-time? Do you, I personally, I love, I've been driving for years, 4 or more, full-time Uber, part-time Lyft. That's what I did. Kevin says he does part-time. So what shift do you guys drive? You know what? I tried to drive the early morning shift. Full-time for 4 years. Says, I can't pronounce your name, but the last 2 letters are JN. I'll just call you JN. Christine, I drive people nuts full-time. That's right, Christine. She's a passenger. Dean from Chicago. That's fine. Night shift, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. I can't do that. My spouse would hit the roof. But that is a very busy time here in Chicago. 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. is a busy time. Get 2 a.m., you're getting picking up the drunks on the way home. Otherwise, I'm just a passenger, she says. Well, that's great. We need passengers too. Drive for Uber 2 years and Lyft 1 year. I have been driving for both for 2 years. And then I picked up a couple extra, like I said, I just applied for Deliv. It was and I do tip in the app. I do tip in the app too. I always tip a good amount. I don't, you know what I mean? I know every single person that is driving is not getting paid enough. So I always make sure I tip. You know, as a fellow driver, I'm not going to get in your car and be like, oh yeah, I'm a driver, and then not tip. That's not right. I started whenever I'm ready, usually 2 to 3 hours later than I should have. Me too. I've been driving for Uber and Lyft for 4 years. 4.95 with Uber and Lyft 5.0. Oh, that's good. And Roy does it full time. Woohoo, that's good. No question. I always tip when I ride in Uber Lyft. So let me ask you guys, who do you prefer to take if you are taking if you're going to call a service, are you going to take an Uber or are you going to take a Lyft? And why? Why would you pick one over the other? What would you do? Yeah, I know what I would do. Christine says Lyft. Why would you pick Lyft over the other one? OC Rideshare, full since April 2016, both. Yeah. JN says currently Lyft rating I have 5.0, 10,000 rides. Wow, that's good. Roy Watkins says nights. I go for the deal difference. Oh, okay. So you check to see who's cheaper. I'll tell you what I do. I didn't take a taxi. That's the truth because the apps are flawed. Yeah. And they rip you off and then you can't get your money back and they're like, oh, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, the thing is I take a Lyft, and there is one reason why I take a Lyft. Lyft trained us, and Uber did not. Uber sends you in, gives you some papers, and let you go out the door. They don't give you any clue of what. I mean, you might have to watch a video now. I think that I saw them watching a couple videos, but Roy does 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. Wow, that's a rough. That is wow. Yeah. Well, if you get in that groove, I'm sure you get decent money doing 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah. I would like doing the night crowd better. I always have done the night crowd more. I did once, but I don't know if I'd taken Uber nowadays. I think that it's not more taxi drivers with Lyft in Chicago from experience. You think it's more taxi drivers with Lyft in Chicago from experience. So you think that a lot of taxi drivers have gone to Lyft? I have met people that they taxi and then they'll drive Lyft, or they do livery, like they'll drive a limo, but they won't get tons of hours. So on the side, they'll do Lyft. He says, yes. See, personally, I just feel that my personal belief, and this is just the way I feel like Lyft is a more quality ride than Uber. I don't know why. That's just, and maybe, and I'm sure it might, maybe I'm wrong, but I've always had a good with Lyft because of discrimination and harassment cases against Uber. Yeah, I have always, I've always shied away from Uber because, all the female harassment, and even the CEO, he comes out and still he opens it. I mean, there was a reporter that was asking him about the drivers, and he's still on like the second day of the stock market or something, and he like opened his mouth and just threw his foot in his mouth again, like letting the drivers know he doesn't give a crap about them. Lyft is more quality in vehicles and drivers. I've gotten very inexperienced Uber drivers. Says, yeah, because they're, the turnover rate is like ridiculous. I feel like Lyft might keep more of their drivers because guess what? They actually train them. Taxi operates as in first century. TNP is super modern as, is that 11 century, 11, is that 21st century? Is the 21st? Dustin is driving in the house. He says, what happened here? Decapitated. Okay, Dustin. So I was talking about, we were talking about this. I put the picture as my thumbnail. Oh, there's a video. Is there a video? So this guy was in self-driving mode. Oh, there is a video. Let me see if I can get it and play it for you guys. So, oh wait. So, this might be an advertisement too. So, this guy was driving in self-driving mode or in autopilot, and it was a 4-lane highway, and the semi-truck pulled out, and this is the second time this has happened with a Tesla. The semi-truck pulled out and went to turn left into the other side. Yeah, it's just an advertisement. And the vehicle was going down the road and like basically got decapitated. Now, one of the things that it talked about in the article is if the Teslas are they only use radar and cameras, okay? And they said if they had the LiDAR, and the LiDAR is like a laser beam that goes out in front and comes back, and they said that it may have been detected with the LiDAR, but the LiDAR is a lot more expensive. And of course, they're trying to sell these self-driving cars without LiDAR right now because people can't afford to own a vehicle. People are not going to be able to afford to own a vehicle, self-driving vehicle, because they are just too expensive. The LiDAR is too expensive. That's what that little thing on top is. When you see that going around, and you don't see them on all the self-driving Teslas. So this is the second time, and they said the last one was a couple years ago, and they've had some times up. They've had some time to figure out and like rethink all this, and so they thought it was kind of suspicious that they've had they've had time to upgrade their stuff and they haven't. Okay, he says there are pics. The Tesla considers the perpendicular semi-truck as over underpass. And then in Vegas, we have a lot of perks at night and kickbacks at the strip club are wonderful. We have one strip club that like gave me a $10 tip for bringing the $10 per person. Autonomous auto getting 5-star for quiet ride, but ended up 1-star for decapitating the passenger. So, and then Dustin is driving, says, damn, decapitation. Thumbs up the stream, guys. He says, Vegas sounds like a great place to drive. Yeah, guys, well, this happened in Florida. This happened in Florida. I guess they're doing it more than yeah, because the self-driving Teslas are all over. Seashell in the house. So Seashell says she's like number 11. And then Roy says, "What's up, Big D? Watch your video. Watch your videos earlier. Woohoo!" So what I was explaining to everybody is that this semi-truck pulled out in front of the guy and was kind of like trying to take a left turn. It was a 4-lane divided highway, and the semi-truck pulled out and went to take a left, and the self-driving car did not see the semi-truck because its technology doesn't see like slow moving stuff sometimes. And he just went under and talk about Ichabod Crane. Was that the guy, the headless horseman? Yeah. Autonomous vehicles drive toward the burial plots. Evolution today. The Tesla collided with 75 miles per hour. Yeah. And this, I mean, yeah, this is a pretty beat up car. It looks, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But this is terrible. This is a terrible accident, and I'm sure they might, I don't know if they signed a waiver when they bought the self-driving cars, but they might be like, well, you weren't paying attention. And and I said this earlier, you all know 75 miles an hour, poor guy. Yeah. He probably didn't even know. He didn't hear it or anything. OC driver, Dustin, how do I get a pic to you? It's a, what's my name sign? Okay. He probably has, Dustin, he probably has a ways that you can get a hold of him if you look in the description below. I have put tons of resources, guys, in my description. I have 3 petitions for different groups that are fighting for your rights as drivers. Please check those out in the description. I have apps that I really like. I do this one that like measures my steps. And that's way down in the below. But I also was telling people here in Chicago, I go to this place called Collision World, and they hook me up. So if you're in the Chicago area, if you have full coverage, you can go to them and they will hook you up with a rideshare car. So you don't have to go to Hertz or whatever and tell them, oh, I need a rideshare. And what if your car, what if you don't have the right insurance? You don't want your insurance to know that you do rideshare. I mean, that's not right, and it's not a good idea, but we all know rideshare drivers are poor. Semi would have a camera in front, but not in the side of the trailer. I don't know if semis have cameras in front. I don't know. Maybe like a dash cam, but This is the second time this has happened. This is going to end up, this guy's going to end up losing his CDL forever. You know, he's not going to, he is, and you know, this poor semi driver, I'm sure he feels really, really bad about this. I mean, can you imagine? I had a friend, her brother had like a seizure, and he never had seizures before, but he ended up like getting in, he was driving, he had a seizure while he was driving, and he ended up killing somebody. He was fine, but the other person died. Could you think about that? Walking around knowing you killed somebody, that's I'm sure that's not a good feeling. So I'm sure this guy, you know, is just having this CDL driver is just having a really bad day. Yeah. So if you have not hit that like button, come on guys, give me a thumbs up. We're going, if I get 100 thumbs up, you can pick the background. This is what I picked. Maybe you don't like it. Tell me what color you like. For bringing 6 people to the strip clubs, my paycheck is $450 to $500, depends on which club. Woohoo! Yeah, 6 people. Well, I was just kidding. That would be 60 more bucks. $450. I need to work where you're working. Wow, says I heart cryptoverse. I'm seriously, I need to be working where you're working. Oh, you're doing Vegas. That's why you're in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And you know why? People would get in my car and some taboo talk would be going on. I'd be like, what happens in the Uber stays in the Uber. They're like, oh yeah, we love this driver. You got to have like a jovial type. At least I do. I try to be fun and let's get through this. Come on, guys. You know, let's have a good time, because I don't want people to, you know, I didn't want people in my car going, she's a pain in the butt. You know, I mean, you got to get through it somehow. And people, if you set the mood with drunk people, a lot of times it'll be a better ride. Yep, I drive a 2019 Infiniti QX60 Black. Ugh, I don't know anything about an Infiniti. I'll have to look at them. I really haven't, but it sounds really nice. A glittery background would be beautiful. That girl is after my own heart. I am like, I want glitter everything. I want glitter here and there and everywhere. I'll get out my nail polish. Yep, the 100th person. If you are watching this in the replay, and so far we got 13 guys, give us a like. Come on, get that like going up there. Maybe somebody will have a choice to what the background is and be like, yeah, I drive the JX35 2013 version of the X glorified Pathfinder. I'm guessing these are the Pathfinder is a like a large vehicle. You guys do select and do you do select and XL and what are the names? The Uber X SUV, she says. Yeah, you do an SUV, Deanna? I did. Oh yeah, OC Rideshare. I mean, really, if I could afford it, I would have. They are the same cars, says Roy. Yeah. Deanna says for comfort. Yeah. Lyft has the Lux Black and Black XL. Now, they told me all this when I went to the little thing. Oh, they have Lux Black, Black XL. But I was like, first of all, I was new and you can't remember everything. And I didn't drive Lyft as much as I drove Uber. Uber Comfort, says Deanna. Yeah. So everybody, what do you, let me kind of change the subject a little bit, seeing as though everybody, did everybody hear what was going on with this, so I don't have to repeat it again, because I want to change the subject about the silent mode to the silent mode thing that Uber is asking. I only drive XL and about, oh, so what do you mean and about? Probably, so, do you guys understand why they're making changes and making drivers like have silent mode and adjust the temperature and stuff like that? The reason why they're doing this, and people are like, Uber's telling us to shut up. Now, I'm sure they have that in the livery places or something like that, but what they're trying to do is they're probably tanking in the aspect with their more luxury vehicles. I'm sure they're tanking and they're losing. In fact, that's what they said. What my friends in the livery business said, that the livery drivers are starting to gain more people that would have gone with Uber, more of a luxury Uber ride, because Uber is not, even though they're not looking for cheap. Okay. They're looking for quality service. So that is why Uber is telling us, oh, you guys got to be quiet mode and you got to do this and do that, is because these people are like high end. Okay. So this is for like the higher end vehicles. Silent mode is stupid. Autonomous vehicles are the only vehicle that can do silent mode. Exactly. She says, I would be happy for lots of quiet time. I don't want to be their entertainment. Quiet, please. Shh. So this is what I would do. I'll just tell you what my trick was. I had a earbud in one ear. The ear this is where everybody is over here. So they wouldn't see the ear that's by the window. Okay. And I put my earbud in here. And I would listen to music. When somebody got in the car and I was talking to them, I would pause my music and I would, find out their name. But then, if they started having a conversation with me, I would not start listening to the music. Or sometimes I would start listening and then they would start talking to me and I'd turn it off. But a lot of times they would just get in the vehicle and they had their own earbuds. So I'd be like, all right, I'm going to listen to my music. You listen to yours. But I'm telling you guys, when I got complaints, I'm sure this is going to really surprise you. A lot of times my mouth was the biggest complaint because I talk too much. I know that's a surprise. I understand, but don't give me SUV or black, says Roy. No, I every so often I would get pinged for too much talking. This one lady left a note in the lift. She says, this lady was just not shutting up. I was like, me? I'm an angel. It's like Rihanna, shut up and drive, or Black Eyed Peas, shut up or don't speak by No Doubt. Do you know these songs? Shut Up and Drive and Black Eyed Peas, Shut Up and Don't Speak. Shoot, I don't know them off the top of the head. I know Rihanna and I know Black Eyed Peas. They're wonderful. Yeah. Oops, that shouldn't have been XL and above. We love you, Chatty. Yeah, they're back. Before I was born, there was a doll called Chatty Cathy. I would imagine I might have owned one if my family wasn't so poor when I was a kid. How old are all you guys? I am 20. I am 23. No, I'm just kidding. I am 43. Oh, I do. It's been an hour. Yeah, I'm going to have to take off pretty soon here. So tell me how old you guys are. Most of the people that come to my channel are over 30 years old. Not everyone are over 30 years old. And I've noticed a lot of them like similar things that I like because they're similar in my age, you know? So, yeah, and it looks like things are slowing down. 35. Woohoo! 35. Yeah. I loved being 30. 30 was fan-freaking-tastic. Heather Lynn, hello! And she's 41. All right, I'm 43 now. I was 42 a couple weeks ago, but now I'm 43. I have to remember. It's like when you write 2018 in January and February, like, oh, that's right. This is 2019. Well, guys, I am going to have to take off pretty soon because I have to pick up the spouse from work. That's my new job. I get to go pick up spouse from work. Usually I would be out making the cash right now. Guys, I really miss hustling. So make sure that when you hustle really hard and you hustle really smart. If you don't hustle really smart, I'm over 60 and about to be a granny. About time, lazy kids. Not really, she says. All right, I'm about to be a granny too. Congrats, I hear Cryptoverse. I'm about to be a granny too. My daughter is now 14 weeks pregnant, and she's due in November, the second week of November. And like, yes, we find out in 2 weeks if it's a boy or a girl. She says, thanks, Heather. So happy. And this is my first grandbaby. I'll be 60 in October, says Roy. Woohoo! And you know what? You couldn't pay me to be 20 because I was dumb. I was dumb at 20. I did some dumb crap. I'm 58 and my 20th grandbaby was born today. Oh, congrats, Darcy. Darcy in the house. Congrats. Wow. Thanks, Mandy. And they said congrats to you. Yes. Yep. So I am going to wrap this up, guys, because I got to do I have the honey-do list. All right. So hustle hard, but hustle smart. But if you don't hustle smart, take your broke booty home. DriverLadyPro out. Hasta la vista, baby.